Conference championship weekend is in the books. We officially have our conference champions across the nation, and we are set for the college football playoff and the rest of bowl season. But we're taking a step back, we're reassessing everything, and we're looking at our conference championship team of the week, of course, presented by our friends over at Eckrich. This is a list that starts off at the top with a guy who needs no introduction, Joe Burrow.
Absolutely. I mean, it was an easy decision with him because he picked apart one of the best defenses in the SEC. 4 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays, and was immaculate whether he was in a clean pocket or under duress. I mean, he averaged 14.6 yards per attempt when under pressure. I mean, that's insane. And if you had any reservations about this guy when he's getting chased around and had to scramble, he can do it all. And we saw last night why he's going to be the future #1 overall pick.
And Heisman winner in all likelihood. Heisman moment number 42, scrambling, evading at least 4 or 5 tackles in the pocket and launching a throw down the field far enough to, I mean, that was just a microcosm of his season. So another guy here, we'll go a little bit quicker through these guys now as well. Burrow needs all the time in the world to talk about him, but CJ Verdell, Oregon's running back, this guy, 140 of his yards after contact. Didn't need to break a whole lot of tackles because once he hit that hole and hit after contact, that was it for him. That offensive line at Oregon is the best in the nation. Verdell taking advantage of all those wide open running lanes, just like our other running back, I think, did.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins. I mean, the elusiveness was on display last night. 12 broken tackles on 33 carries. And what really stood out to me is that 17 of those 33 carries came when he was contacted behind the line of scrimmage. He broke 9 tackles on those 17 carries. I mean, that's absurd. The man was just feasting all night long.
Yeah, it was necessary for him, too, to get them rolling. The Buckeyes get it right in the second half. So T. Higgins, Clemson wide receiver against Virginia. This guy, 9 of 9, 9 targets, 9 receptions, over 100 yards, 3 scores. He did it all, breaking tackles, gaining yards after the catch, a perfect passer rating when targeted him, obviously. So T. Higgins, Trevor Lawrence was quite the combo in the ACC title game.
Yeah, and then opposite of that, D'Angelo Anton from Florida Atlantic. I mean, he came up huge at the end of the first quarter on a beautiful executed slant route that resulted in a 75-yard touchdown. Really no different from what we've seen from him all year.
Yeah, same with that as well. Carrying this on, the other wide receiver on our list as well, CeeDee Lamb. Doesn't score, but he breaks 6 tackles, gets chased down at the end of it. Just another a glimpse of what you saw all season if you were able to see CeeDee Lamb in action for Oklahoma. He kind of sparks that Oklahoma offense as well. When they were struggling to get the ball down the field, Oklahoma gets the win. Lamb gets another highlight reel play.
Yeah, and at tight end, we have Jeremy Ruckert, Ohio State. That insane touchdown catch from him. I mean, it was one of the best catches of the weekend and earned him the PFF Team of the Week honors, and it was might even be the Buckeyes play of the year. I mean, 2nd and 4 at the 16, down 14 to start the second half, came up huge and really changed the game.
Yeah, it changed the game. What changed the game as well was the running game for the App State. We're moving to the offensive line here. So App State's tackle, Victor Johnson, does not allow a single pressure on 19 pass blocking snaps, but that wasn't the game for the Mountaineers. App State's running game really got it done. They averaged over 4 yards before contact in the running game, running behind Johnson's left or right side. So this is just ridiculous in terms of how fast he got off the ball and how well he paced that running game for him.
I mean, I think I could have ran behind that offensive line. Had some success. Exactly. And at guard, we have John Molchon, Boise State. From an overall perspective in PFF grade, this was his best game of the year. Allowed just 1 quarterback pressure, had a season-high PFF run blocking grade.
Yeah, we've had Ezra Cleveland on the Team of the Week from Boise State often this season as well. Garrett Larson at center, also from Boise State. Similarly to Johnson from App State, does not allow a pressure and pass protection, but they gained 67 of their 112 rushing yards to either his right or his left on runs up the middle. Larson paced that rushing attack for the Broncos.
Yeah, and for the other guard, we have Dylan Parham from Memphis. I mean, he protected Brady White at all costs. Didn't allow a single pressure all night. Had a season-high PFF pass blocking grade.
This it's a tale of what we've seen this season, actually capitalizing in the conference championship games. Tremaine Ankrum at Clemson, our other tackle spot, does not allow a pressure as well. That's the common theme. Don't allow a pressure, you're going to get on the Team of the Week. So that's the offense. That was the offensive line here. Let's move it over to the defense. Another guy, it's like we start this list, flip it to you, and we say this guy needs no introduction. If you haven't heard the name by now, get to know it for 2 more years at Oregon. The former highest-rated recruit coming out last year from Southern California, Kayvon Thibodeaux.
Yeah, he might be my favorite guy in all of college football. I mean, he just stands off when you watch the film. I mean, I screamed last night when I watched him. It was insane. 6 pressures on 28 pass rush reps. Won 32.1% of his pass rush reps. I mean, if you haven't watched this guy, go back and watch last night. Go back and watch Cal when they played Cal back in week 6. You're going to see why he's going to be a future star.
Yeah. Could be a first-round pick lock at this point, just as a true freshman. Blocks a punt as well with crazy speed. Other edge defender as well, Bryce Huff's from Memphis. 7 total pressures on his 35 pass rushing snaps, winning over 20% as well. He truly got in the backfield. Didn't get home with a sack against Cincinnati, but he affected Desmond Ritter's passing lanes more often than he did not.
Yeah, and for our first interior defensive lineman, Curtis Weaver gets a lot of credit for this Boise State pass rush, but Sonatani Louie came up huge last night. He had a forced fumble and 6 pressures in the pass rush, and he can play, nose tackle, he can play defensive tackle, and he had success at any alignment last night.
Yeah, similarly to that as well, Davon Hamilton in the middle for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Chase Young gets all the love, all the reps, all the press, rightfully so, gets double teamed, frees up Hamilton to 7 pressures on the night and just 30 pass rushing attempts. This guy was a force in the middle for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and for our first linebacker, we have Brian Wright from Cincinnati. The Bearcat was quite literally a bear against the run. 6 run stops, 3 tackles for loss or no gain against the run, and a forced fumble. When you're going at him, it would be like me trying to truck Steve Palazzolo. It just wasn't happening.
Not happening. Our other linebacker of the week, Troy Dye, came up huge for the Oregon Ducks in their win. All over the field, an interception in coverage, even though he just saw 6 targets. Did allow a touchdown, but that's just how effective he was in coverage as well. 6 total pressures, including a sack on just 14 pass rushes. Dye was huge for the Ducks.
Yeah, and moving on to the secondary, this cornerback, he is arguably the best cornerback in all of football this season as a true freshman. Derek Stingley, Jake Fromm tried to test him. It didn't work. Stingley had his cake and ate it too. He was targeted 16 times in coverage, allowed just 5 catches, and produced a passer rating when targeted of 24.2. Fromm should have just thrown the ball away. He had 2 interceptions on the night, and the SEC has to see this man for 2 more years. And I feel bad for opposing offensive coordinators because he's just wrecking game plans.
Good luck throwing at Stingley ever. Saw Mike Renner, our lead draft analyst, say, 2020 scouting notes, number 1, Derek Stingley, for a pretty darn good reason. Another great play you saw in Conference Championship weekend was Miko Dotson, FAU's cornerback, peels off his high-low coverage and man and actually picks off one of Tyler Johnson's passes. This was a beautiful play by Dotson. He was targeted 2 times in the game, picked off the one play that wasn't even in his coverage zone. That's how well he played in coverage for the Owls, and this is to get the win.
Yeah, and for one of our safeties on the team of the week is Brady Breeze from Oregon, another Oregon Duck. He came up huge for him in one of the better games of his career. He had no missed tackles on his 9 tackling attempts and had 5 defensive stops, and also forced Huntley into a rare interception for him.
Naturally, that happens. Sterling Weatherford, Miami of Ohio safety. This guy came up huge, similar to how it was with Dotson. Not targeted a lot, but when he was in coverage zone, makes 3 pass breakups on passes not even targeted. They allow him to free roam. He plays a huge role in the Redhawks' victory over Central Michigan.
Yeah, and closing out our team of the week for the conference championships is Oklahoma cornerback Trey Brown, who I think put together one of the most underappreciated performances of the week. He was targeted 4 times in coverage, didn't allow a single catch, 3 pass breakups on those 4 targets. He played a huge part in this Oklahoma Sooners win.
Yeah, he was big because Parnell Motley was locking down Denzel Mims. You knew they were going to see Trey Brown in coverage there as well. Big win for the Sooners. Big win for all of our conference champions and for Anthony Treashas. I'm Cam Mellor. This was our conference championship team of the week.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.